Hi everyone, my name's Lynsey Warren and I'm a guidance advisor for Norfolk County Council. Today I'm joined by Charlene Girling, who is the On Track team manager, and she's going to be answering some questions all about the support that they offer to young people. So welcome Charlene, it's so lovely to have you join us today.
Oh, thank you, Lynsey. Lovely to be here.
Thank you. So Charlene, tell us what type of person is On Track for?
So, On Track is for any young person who is aged 16 to 24 who's not in education, employment, or training. On Track can work with any young person, regardless of barriers, and we will work with them to try and reach their personal goals.
That sounds great. So if a young person if when they're referred to you, do they need to have any qualifications? Is there any sort of minimum requirements or anything like that?
Absolutely not. No, we don't have to have any qualifications. And in actual fact, we can support the young person to gain their functional skills. And we also have some internal awards as well that we offer. The young person will need a certain amount of eligibility criteria, such as right to work, but we can go through this at the referral stage.
That's brilliant. Thank you. So can you give us a little bit of a brief overview about On Track?
Absolutely. So On Track is funded through the Building Better Opportunities Fund, which is the big lottery fund and the European Social Fund. We've got funding until the next couple of years, and it's to help support young people to move closer to the labour market. So a young person will be referred into the project, and the first stage of the referral will be they will have a meeting with a lead coach. And at the moment, those meetings are via Microsoft Teams, Zoom, or over the telephone, but we hope to be able to get back to face very soon. During this induction meeting, the lead coach will be able to gather all the evidence that we require to get them onto our programme. They'll talk a little bit about what On Track is, and we will set up some goals with the young person. It's very youth focused, so it's a chance for young people to think what they would like to do in their life and how we can support them to progress towards those goals. So the young person will then be allocated over to a coach who will work with them for as long as it takes to get them to their personal goals, whether this be employment, educational training, and they will do one-to-one coaching with them. As well as these coaching sessions, we're able to offer young people other opportunities. So we have some short courses that we're delivering, which are called personal development courses. This supports a young person to build their soft skills such as communication, confidence, meet other young people. We also have functional skills and we do positive activities as well. So we've got cooking workshops, a gaming group, we do football, and all of this together is to support that young person to progress closer to their personal goals. Another great thing about On Track is we can support young people to limit those barriers. So, for example, if a young person is rurally isolated and public transport is a issue for them, then we are able to purchase some transport costs for them. If they haven't got access to sort of a laptop, then we're able to find them access to laptops and Chromebooks to be able to access some of our online sessions as well.
Oh, that sounds absolutely brilliant. Thank you for that. So if a referral is made, a young person's referred to On Track, what happens, what's the start of that process? What can a young person expect to happen next?
So the start of the process will be once we get our referral through. So normally the referral would come from a third party, such as your support worker. We would check through that referral. We'd ask your support worker if there's any information missing off then. And then you would expect a text message to come through from one of our lead coaches. They will then ask you for an appropriate time to give you a phone call. And then during that telephone call, they'll be able to explain what On Track is all about. So it's about a coaching service that will help you progress towards your goals. They might then start to touch on to find out a little bit more about you. So what are your goals? What are your hopes and dreams for the future? And after we've had that telephone call, we will then set up a meeting to be able to meet you in person and gather any of this data and evidence that we need. So sometimes we might ask for a passport or your national insurance number, and this is to get you onto our books. Once you've had that initial meeting and we've got all the data that we need, we will then allocate you over to a coach, and we try to pair you up with someone who we think is going to have similar interests to you or to be able to support you to break down any barriers that you're facing to get you to your end goals. Once we have allocated you over to a coach, yet again, you'll normally get a text message to say that the coach would like to give you a call to introduce themselves. They'll then give you a call and arrange what days and times are best to meet. And we try and meet with our young people every other week. But of course, that is down to the young person. It's down to you to decide what is best for you. Alongside that, we'll talk about the other opportunities. So if you'd like to take part in our online personal development courses, some of our social groups, some of those positive activities or potentially functional skills. So that will be what the coach will talk to you about in your first ever coaching session, as well as setting some of your long-term goals and how we hope to get to those goals.
Yeah, oh, that sounds really good, and something I think so many young people could benefit from. So I think you probably covered about how often a young person would meet with a coach. So that's every other week. Is that your kind of normal kind of amount of sort of coaching sessions?
Yeah, so we try to meet the young person every other week for an hour, and this coaching some young people have met their goals after sort of 3 months, but other young people it might take a little bit longer, and that's absolutely fine. We'll work with you for as long as it takes for you to get to the place where you'd like to be. And of course, if you feel like meeting weekly is better for you, then we can discuss that with your coach. Or if you think a monthly meeting is going to be better for you, then that is absolutely fine. We try and work with the young person so that we best meet the needs of the young person.
Oh, that sounds really good. So what support does a coach actually give to a young person? What does the coaching sort of look like?
So the coaches can support with referring to other agencies. So if a young person has potentially mental health issues, or they just need some other support which is outside of our coaching package, then we will make some phone calls on your behalf, or we'll tell you about some other organisations that you can access to help you with things outside of the coaching. Within the coaching service, we offer things such as helping you write your CV or your personal statement. If you're looking to go into educational training, we might do some research with you to show you where you can access this training, what sort of courses are about. We can also support you to sign up to Universal Credit if this is something that you're looking for. And what we try to do is we try to give young people the tools, and then they can go away and they can do it themselves, and then they come back, and then we'll move on to the next journey.
Oh, that sounds really good. So do the coaches help young people get work experience or work?
Yeah, so in terms of our work experience, we have a participation support officer, and this person enables a young person to have work experience placements within our organisations. So On Track is a partnership organisation. We actually have lots of organisations involved, and so we've got lots of volunteer opportunities internally. But if there's a particular interest of a young person, so for example, if they'd like to get into retail, then our coaches would make some links with local businesses. They'll then introduce a young person and say, this young person's looking for some work experience, and then we'll try and make those links with the local businesses. We have got some really good collaborations with local businesses already, and lots of young people are able to access work experience because of those relationships that we've built up. So we absolutely do look to get young people work experience and volunteering opportunities, as well as developing their CV through gaining awards and accreditations.
That sounds brilliant, thank you. So if a young person was going to do some work experience or anything like that, is there, I know you have briefly mentioned that there is some support you could give with transport and things like that.
Yes, we have a little bit of a budget. Obviously, it's down on a needs basis, so we do need to be able to prove to our funders that this is a barrier that this young person is facing, and how we're going to overcome that barrier. But we have got a little bit of budget to be able to support with transport costs or IT skills, or even if you had an interview coming up and you needed some interview attire, then we do work very hard to try and break down any barriers that you're facing, and sometimes that is financial.
Yeah. Oh, that's brilliant. So what for you is the end goal for young people when they're working with a coach?
So we do try and keep it very young, very person centered. So we like to help young people to let us know what their goals are, what are their personal goals. But of course, sometimes young people don't know. And so we will help inspire and motivate them, help them to look at what opportunities are out there. A majority of our young people will come into the programme. Some of them know exactly what they want to do and will help them get to those goals. Some of them haven't got a clue, but generally they'll exit the programme in education, employment or training. So that's the the end goal that we'd love all young people to be able to access. Of course, some young people just getting closer to that point is exactly what they're after, and then they feel that they're able to do it on their own, and that's absolutely fine as well. But we are really, really happy and really proud when our young people get into education, employment or training.
Oh, that's brilliant. That sounds really good. Just another question. So the information that you gather from young people, is that shared with anyone like parents or carers or other agencies? And if so, would the young person be informed of that?
Absolutely. So in the initial meeting that you'd have with your lead coach, we go through some paperwork about sharing of information. So of course, sometimes it's really helpful for you if you've got other people working with you for them to be aware of what we're doing to help you achieve your goals. But we would also always ask you right at the beginning, who would you like your information shared with? Who are you working with at the moment? And then we wouldn't share that information outside of who you've already given us permission to. Of course, there are those incidences where you might be in danger, or another young person would be in danger, and in that instance, we do have a duty of care to share that information. But we would share that with you first to say that we do need to share this because it's to keep you safe.
Oh, that's brilliant. And just a question that I've just popped into my mind. You've sort of mentioned about young people would be able to perhaps do maths and English, you know, their functional skills and things like that with you. So how is that delivered? Is that sort of an online sort of learning course? What does that look like?
So before the pandemic and COVID-19, that was a classroom based. However, it was at the young person's own pace. So we would do an initial assessment to see at what point the young person is coming in at. And then we have our functional skills tutor that would work with young people to go through the coursework element of the functional skills. At the moment, that is a bit tricky. So the young people who have already signed up to functional skills are doing a lot of home learning. And then when they are ready for their exam, then we would bring them into the centre to take those exams. But our functional skills tutor is only on the end of the telephone and can also set up meetings if there's any tricky situations.
That's brilliant. And you've mentioned about your centre. Where is that based? Do you cover all of Norfolk? Obviously, we're in COVID times when we're recording this, and you know, when we're not in COVID times and young people can come into centres, you know, where are they?
So we've got some key areas that we do our work. So we've got one centre in Norwich. It's on Oak Street, so very close to the city centre. So we do our functional skills and our cooking workshops from there. Some of our positive activities. We've also got a centre at the moment in Great Yarmouth within the Market Gate Shopping Centre, and we do have a variety of venues that we use in Kings Lynn near the city centre. But of course, if it's a challenge for you to travel into these areas, then to begin with, our coaches will come to you and we'll find local cafes that we can go and sit and have a coaching session in. And then eventually it might be that you're confident enough to be able to take public transport to come along to the city centre venues, which is also very good for opportunities because there tends to be lots of sort of employment and volunteering opportunities in city centres. But we do try and make it very flexible. And if you don't feel that you're ready for that, then we can come to you.
Brilliant. So really, this is for any young people wherever they live in Norfolk.
Yes. Yeah, we do cover all of Norfolk.
Lovely, thank you. So finally, is there anything else that you think would be helpful for young people to know about On Track?
I think it would be very helpful for the young people to know that our service is unique, as in we haven't got an agenda. We're not working with the young person because we want them to get to a certain point. It is really down to the young person and what their wants, needs, and goals are. So we're very person-centered. We've got a fantastic coaching team that have got really great experience, and they've been working with young people for a long time. So there's no need for you to feel anxious about meeting our staff members because they've worked with lots of young people, and no matter what barriers you're facing, we will work really hard to help you achieve your goals.
Well, that sounds absolutely brilliant. Well, thank you so much for all the information you've shared with us today, Charlene. That has just been so helpful. So thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you, Lynsey.
Thanks.